Hello, welcome. This is Rolling with Ruel. My name is Ruel Gaviolo. Hope you're having a great day. It is morning time where I am. I am in Southern California. The sun is out. I'm looking right out the window. We've had some rainy days, well, a rainy day recently, but it's nice to see the sun out. I hope you're having a good day wherever you are. It is 9 a.m., about 9:06 a.m. Pacific time here. And what I do on Tuesdays, it is Tattooing Tuesday. That's where I read some Star Wars books. I've read some excerpts of other newly released books, but today I am just sticking to our weekly reading of Thrawn. We are in chapter 6 right now, so we've read the first 5 chapters over the last 5 weeks. This is just a way for me to hold myself accountable to read more this year, so I appreciate you hanging out. James, good morning, good to see you, friend. Hope you're doing well. What I've got planned today, I am going to read from Star Wars Thrawn, and then I am going to host a virtual co-working space. So probably about, I don't know how long it's going to take. Let's see. Chapter 6, I don't think it's too long. It's a few pages here. It is probably, 20 to 30 minutes of reading. We'll see. So after that, I will take a quick break, and then we're going to host a virtual co-working space where I just throw on the chill music like you had here at the intro, and then we're going to work together. I need to be productive today. I'm behind on a bunch of stuff. I feel like I'm always behind. Like yesterday, I was up. I totally forgot to eat breakfast till about 10 a.m. yesterday. I was just working, probably up since like 7:30 or so. Just jumped right into work, and while Michelle was doing her thing in her office. And today I don't know, I wanted to just get productive, but I wanted to also read Star Wars as our usual Tattooing Tuesday. AJ Gamers in the house, good morning. Good to see you here. So yeah, last night we had a really fun stream. Michelle and I played Spirits of the Wild, which was I always forget how much I enjoy that game. I think it's a really solid two-player game, and it's got a little bit of Draftosaurus like style set collection. It's got action like action selection, like sort of hand management. It's such a neat little game, and I'm bummed that it's not out of. It's like been out of print for a while. Mattel Games published it, and I was so surprised when I was like, Mattel, I think of like, what does Mattel make, like Hot Wheels and stuff, right? I don't think of them as like a gaming company, but it was neat to see that. Friday Night Games is in the house. Hi, good morning. So for those of you just joining me, I am going to be reading from Star Wars Thrawn, Chapter 6 today. Just a real chill stream today. I will be back tonight at 7 p.m. Pacific. The plan is to play chapter 1 or game 1 of this Pandemic Season 0. I've played Pandemic Legacy Season 1, loved it. Did not play Season 2, but I have Season 0. This is like the prequel. I've heard many, many good things about it. So if you come back tonight, 7 p.m. Pacific, spoiler alert, I am going to be playing the first season. I don't know what it's about. I don't know how it plays. I'm going to learn it off camera here, but I will pretty much be opening it up live at 7 p.m. We're going to play through it. I want to do the thing, too, where everyone in chat can sort of like play along. So I'll do like 2 characters, because I don't want to keep track of like 4. But I figure it'll be my character and then chat's character. We'll select from here. So that's gonna be tonight at 7 p.m. Folks. Hornets is in the house. Thank you, friend, for joining. Good to see you. Good morning. And let's see. I'll put that there. So that's what I'm doing tonight, 7 p.m. I'm excited because I've got this thing. I'm recording a video tomorrow on someone else's channel. I'm not going to say who. I can't say who yet, but it's a project that we've been talking about it lately with these people, this company, and I'm super excited to share that with you. Hopefully next week or the week after. But we're recording tomorrow. I don't know how fast the turnaround time is. I feel like it's going to be a really fast turnaround, but it is board game related. I can tell you that. We're going to talk, research, produce, and I believe film it tomorrow afternoon before I go live tomorrow. But super excited about that. Hopefully we'll release that soon. I'm gonna get oh, breakfast. What are y'all? We do stream snacks. I've not eaten breakfast yet, but as regular viewers know, we always talk about stream stacks here on the channel. So this is Rolling with Ruel. Um, tabletop tonight happens at 7 p.m. Pacific. Rolling with Ruel is sort of like my random sort of throughout the week thing. I need to work on my branding. I'm all over the place. I know that, but stream stacks. I am going to be eating. DJ Super Best Friend. Hi, nice to see you. A great stream, by the way. I've said this before many times. I really enjoy watching you two, on the Board Game Spam channel. Let me shout that out. I always enjoy. It's such a cool vibe that y'all have. Let me do the shout out command. I'm learning all this stuff as we go. Shout out DJ Super Best Friend. Yeah, and I'm gonna shout out. Board Game Spam. Oh no, it only works on who's in there. Okay, got it. Okay. Anyways, DJ Super Best Friend and Board Game Spam, they do a great job of just hanging out, playing games. Always appreciate them. What I'm going to do tonight. Hydrate. Thank you. Yeah, always need to hydrate. Breakfast. I didn't eat breakfast this morning because I just jumped right into work. I need to stop doing that. I really need to eat my breakfast first. But I posted this yesterday, and I'm going to do it again today. I've got a slice of pie, folks. This is the remnants of... This is the very last piece of pie. So if Michelle's watching, I'm sorry, babe. I'm eating it. This is the strawberry rhubarb pie from Gamehouse Cafe. Gamehouse Cafe is a local... actually, it's the very first board game cafe in the Los Angeles area. They've been around, I think, like 7 or 8 years, I believe. But a lot of my friends in Southern California, that was like our hub. That's where we met. Michelle and I are about an hour east of this place, but even though we're an hour east, we would still make the trek down there on a semi-regular basis because it's just such a wonderful cafe. The food was great. They have such a very welcoming environment, and they have like 2,000 games. So it was really such a great space. They, along with a lot of businesses, are being affected by COVID, of course. They're not open. So what they are open for, though, is they have their wonderful pies. And I believe Terry is the chef there. He's one of the co-owners, and he actually went to like baking school. So his desserts are just crazy good. My first time ever having a strawberry rhubarb pie, instant love. As I explained I think I was talking to Omari last night on Twitter. It was like I grew up eating strawberry pies that were super sweet, sort of like Marie Callender style. And the strawberry rhubarb pie is more tart, and I love it. It's so good. So I'm eating that. I've got my cup of hot Earl Grey with with honey and lemon to keep the voice okay. And I've got my water to hydrate too. So I hope you're having a good eating day as well, friends. Let me see who else. Atomic Jukebox is in the house. Thanks for joining us, friend. Always good to see you here. Okay, so I'm gonna take a bite. Y'all let me know where you're eating. I'm sorry to make you watch me eat. I'm gonna turn off my mic so you don't hear me like slobbering. But yeah, strawberry rhubarb pie. I would love to hear what y'all are eating and drinking. Okay, I don't know if I turned off my mic. You might have been listening to me chew, so apologies for that. I had the music going on. I'm going to shut it off for now, but I had to laugh. Horace was reaching for his glucose meter. DJ Super Best Friend, jalapeno cheddar biscuits. That sounds delicious. And Atomic Jukebox, yes, a pie is an anytime food. I've come to that realization late in life. But yes, pie is, well, actually, what am I saying? I've eaten pie plenty of times throughout my life during any time, but I'm definitely more of a pie person. Um, I like cakes, but I'm not. Now, this is where me and Michelle differ. We both enjoy cakes, but I'm less of a frosting fan than she is. But I mean, she's not. We're not both like huge frosting fans, but it's just always too sweet for me. But I love this pie. I think it's so good. I'm gonna take a sip of tea. Let's see what else we got here. James says pie for breakfast counts. Awesome. DJ Super Best Friend, the fruit makes it breakfast. Yes, thank you. I love hanging out here because y'all enable me. So thank you. Okay. So Star Wars Thrawn. I'm gonna read chapter 6. Let me see if I can do a quick recap. This is Thrawn. He is an awesome baddie in the Star Wars universe. He is a member of the Chiss race, and the Empire at this time sort of just stumbled upon him, and he took out a bunch of stormtroopers, right? And the Empire realized they were not messing around with just some ordinary dude, so to speak, and they actually enlisted him to they talked to him, and he basically offered to become loyal to the Empire, and he actually had a meeting with Emperor Palpatine, which it was an interesting scene because the rest of the characters very very respectful and actually very afraid of the Emperor, like as you should be, right? But Thrawn didn't show any of that. I mean, he was respectful, but he was also very straightforward with the Emperor, and the Emperor knows that there's this guy. I mean, the Emperor obviously could crush him, but he probably figures he can turn him into a really strong ally, right? So one of the characters is Eli Vanto. He is Thrawn's translator. Thrawn speaks some basic, which is English in our world, and you sort of think that Thrawn doesn't let. Thrawn's like I look at him as like the ultimate like poker player, right? He never lets you know what he's thinking, and he's just he's got a brilliant mind, and it's going to serve him well, as you'll see. I've read this book before, so no spoilers, but this is about his ascent in the Empire, so in the Imperial Army and everything else. So he's going through boot camp, basically like a officer training school, an accelerated pace. So he just survived his first like attack. There was obviously some jealousy amongst the other cadets, because here's this guy who's this guy, and he's here like 2 months. He's going to become, whatever. And he actually is a lieutenant. But it was really interesting to see how he played off him being a lieutenant. Like, he never wore his bars, right? But at the most opportune time, he busted them out and got himself out of a jam. So it's really cool to see him, work his political magic, as it may be. For those of you wondering, this takes place right after Revenge of the Sith. This is episode 3. So they do have the Star Wars timeline here. So this takes place after episode 3, before Rebels, and before Rogue One, which is before A New Hope. So that's where it falls in the timeline. Eli Vanto is his translator / confidant, I guess. And we're going to see how that relationship develops as well. DJ Sort, though, this is a debate for us. We have compromised and think pie is more consistently good and cake has higher highs and lower lows. Too much frost. Oh, interesting. Hornus, thank you for lurking. Have a great day, friend. That is an interesting debate, DJ Super Best Friend. Yeah, wow. Yeah, cake has higher highs and lower lows. Too much frosting. Yeah. The frosting is what pretty much kills it for me every time, but there have been some wonderful cakes in my life. And I don't know have you seen, there's like that crazy thing, Michelle showed it to me the other day, where they put like pie inside of a cake, right? Like there's the cake. It's just basically a pie inside a cake. It looks absolutely insane to me. But Yeah, I'm definitely more of a pie person. You know what? I am more of a fruit pie person. That's my preferred pie is a fruit. I'm not the biggest fan of like say banana cream or like a chocolate pie. That being said, a good pecan pie is heaven on earth. I love pecan pies. And see, yeah, I'm more of a pie person. Cakes, I do like a cake. As long as the cake's not too sweet, I'm okay with it. Um, let's see. Whoa. No, I haven't seen. Yeah, check it out. You can totally Google it. There's one specific chef that started it in like New York, but then of course it spread. Um, the pie and the cake thing. Say I like lovely biscuits for you on. Shaquille Oatmeal 16. Hey, I will say lovely biscuits if I want a donation. Thank you. If you are a spam bot, you will be banned. But if you're real, we will see. You are named after one of my favorite Lakers, the 2020 NBA champions, by the way. Shaquille O'Neal, former Los Angeles Laker, all-time great. Risa Roney, thank you for joining us. We will start co-working in about 20-30 minutes. Risa, thank you for hanging out. Pecan pie, what a great way to... Perfect, yes. Wait, what? Shaquille, did you really donate $500? You did not. Come on now. Really? It says you donated some money, but I don't know if that's real. But if it is real, thank you. Oh my gosh, bruh. Really? I don't know how to check that. I still don't know how this Twitch stuff. I'm it's funny. I've been on Twitch for like almost a year and I'm still figuring out stuff. But thank you for hanging out, Shaquille. I want to call you Shaq. That's how I feel like we're as hopefully the fellow Laker fans we can refer to each other as Shaq. I can talk about the Lakers all day. I'm not going to do it, but They did win the 2020 NBA championship, and as I've said many times here before, I'm a true blue LA Lakers and Dodgers fan. So Shaquille, thank you for hanging out. I'm going to read Star Wars Thrawn, and what I do is I set up this screen. I use the Force to get over here. Thanks for the. You know what? Got to do this, Shaquille. Again, if you're new to the channel, we do analog alerts here, and whenever there's a new follower, we bring out Felicia the Follow Fish. Felicia likes to hang out and swim around, welcome new followers, and then she takes off. And all of us, I and all of you in chat say, bye, Felicia. Shaq, thanks for the follow. Go Lakers. You've redeemed stretch points as well. I am stretching. Oh, yeah. Thank you for the bye, Felicias in chat, friends. Excuse me. I'm going to use the Force. Oop. I love that wipe. I'm such a big fan of that wipe. I am going to read Chapter 6 of Star Wars Thrawn. Thank you again for joining me. My name is Ruel Gaviola. Chapter 6, Star Wars Thrawn. A leader is responsible for those under his authority. That is the first rule of command. He is responsible for their safety, their provisions, their knowledge, and ultimately their lives. Those whom he commands are in turn responsible for their behavior and their dedication to duty. Any who violates his trust must be disciplined for the good of the others. But such discipline is not always easy or straightforward. There are many factors, some of them beyond the commander's control. Sometimes those complications involve personal relationships. Other times, it is the circumstances themselves that are difficult. There can also be politics and outside intervention. Failure to act always brings consequences, but sometimes those consequences can be turned to one's advantage. All right, commandment, Dean Lark said as he made a final notation on his datapad. The skin around his eyes is puffy. Perhaps he is newly awakened. His facial heat is bright, and the muscles in his throat are tight. There is a thin coating of perspiration on his face. Perhaps he is nervous. Cadets Obar and Ture set up the assault, you say. Did you actually hear them calling in the men who attacked you? No, sir, we didn't, Vanto said. But their comlink records, or the lab's own comm system, should give you the necessary indicators. Yes, they should, Dean Lark agreed. His voice goes deeper in tone. Reluctance? Unless the assailants were an entirely separate bunch. They were not, Thrawn said. How do you know? Dean Lark asked, his eyes narrow. They came across the southwest corner of the parade ground, Thrawn said. At that time, they were already moving with speed and stealth, but the only way for them to have independently identified us was with electro-binoculars. Which none of them had, Vanto said. He nods, a gesture of understanding. That also rules out an attack driven by jealousy or xenophobia, since they couldn't have known it was Cadet Thrawn. So it was Obar Oturoi, or the instructor, he added, his tone rises slightly with thoughtfulness. No, Dienlark said, it wasn't him. It could have been, Thrawn said. I said it wasn't, Dienlark repeated. His tone has gone deeper, his face stiff, his eyes gazing with heightened intent. Perhaps he does not wish it to be possible. Bad enough that cadets were mixed up in something like this. We're not going to drag an instructor in, too. He looks back at his datapad. His facial heat increases as he makes a final note. Sir, with all due respect, I don't think politics should enter into this, Vanto said. His tone is respectful, but firm. Oh, you don't, do you? Dienlark said. His voice becomes harsh. Are you ready to have your name put on a witness list? I could handle it, sir. I doubt that, Cadet, Dienlark said. Obar's family has a lot of say about what happens on Coruscant. Even if they let you graduate, you'd probably find yourself assigned to some wild space listening post. Is not such manipulation of the justice system in itself illegal? Thrawn asked. Of course it is, Dienlark said, his eyes compress, his facial glow fading slowly. All right, assuming your assailants haven't figured out a way to bypass the comlink records, we should have their names by morning. It will not be a long search, Thrawn said. They would not risk going outside their closest circle of friends. There are 8 other cadets who typically socialize with them, 2 of whom may be eliminated by considerations of aura. Aura? Esthimba. Presence or aura, Vanto translated. The Cybisti term can refer to a person's height, weight, build, vocal quality, mannerisms, profession, and expertise, or some combination. They're cadets, Dienlark said. They don't have a profession. All 10 are in the weapons engineering track of study, Thrawn said. Yes, I suppose they are, Dienlark said, which leaves us 6 suspects. All of them are also from the same social level of cadets Obar and Turei, I assume. If you're suggesting I'm going to look the other way on this cadet, I strongly suggest you revise your thinking, Dienlark said. His voice is harsh, his facial heat increased. Perhaps he is angry or feels guilt. Yes, I'm concerned about the potential political fallout here. I've put up with Obar's antics for almost 4 years because of it. 2 more months, and he'll be someone else's problem. So yes, I like to see this go away, but I can't let this one slide, and I won't. I am gratified to hear that, Commandant, Thrawn said. Let me then suggest an alternative means of action. You will find our attackers, but you will not bring charges against them. Dienlark's eyes narrow, his mouth opens slightly in surprise. You don't want them charged? He asked. Then what the hell are we all doing here? As I said, I want them found, Thrawn said. I then recommend they be transferred. Dienlark gave a snort of derision. To where? Mustafar? To starfighter pilot training. Dienlark stares. His expression of surprise deepens. Hardly what I'd consider a punishment. It is not intended to be, Thrawn said. All 3 show the aptitude and aura necessary for fighter craft pilots. Really? Dienlark leans back in his chair. He folds his arms across his chest. I can't wait to hear this one. It was obvious from their method of attack, Thrawn said. From the way they moved both together and singly. I do not have the words to properly explain it, but it was the mark of instinctive combat pilots. Cadet Vanto? Dienlark gestures toward Vanto in an inviting manner. Can you corroborate that? Sorry, sir, Vanto said. His expression is thoughtful. But I wasn't concentrating on their tactics, and I doubt I would have seen what Cadet Thrawn's talking about even if I had. Such an action would also carry an additional bonus, Thrawn said. The Royal Imperial Starfighter program is excellent, but I believe this program at the Sky Strike Academy is equally capable? Nothing equal about it. Sky Strike's far better with pilots than we are, Dienlark said. He sits up straighter in his chair. His frown fades away. He understands. And there's no reason to tell Obar and Turoi where their fellow conspirators have disappeared to, is there? Not at all, sir, Thrawn agreed. In fact, I would suggest that the 3 begin their new training. He paused. Ningithkuthu. Is there a word in basic for that? Yes, incommunicado, Vanto said. Can they be held incommunicado, Commandant? On Sky Strike? Dean Lark makes a snorting sound. It's hard not to be incommunicado there. And you're right. I imagine even Obar might learn to behave himself after 3 of his co-conspirators disappear without a trace. Uncertainties are often useful in paralyzing an opponent's plans and actions, Thrawn said. For a human like Cadet Obar, who believes himself capable of handling all situations, this will also prove a useful lesson for his future. One can hope he will take it to his core and become a better person and officer. Not sure I go that far, Deanlark said, but not with Obar. But it's worth a shot, if you're sure you want to do it this way. Allow me to state it more strongly, Thrawn said. If you bring the attackers to court-martial, I will not testify against them. Deanlark angles his head a few degrees to the side. Is this how you do things in the unknown regions, Cadet? Bypass the law and regulations and get what you want through blackmail or extortion? We attempt to solve problems. This is the solution that is the best for the Empire as a whole. You have anything to add, Cadet? Deanlark asks. He raises his eyebrows toward Vanto in question. No, sir, Vanto said. Deanlark shrugs his shoulders, perhaps reluctant acceptance. I'll get the process started, he said. Maybe give Sky Strike's commandant a call. We'll have the guilty parties' names by morning, and their hindquarters off Coruscant by dinner. He smiles, perhaps sly amusement. That should leave them just enough time to tell Obar and Turoi they have no idea where they're going before they disappear. As you said, Cadet, uncertainties. Exactly, Thrawn said. Thank you, Commandant. Don't thank me, Deanlark's tone deepens. Just be advised that if this thing blows up, your name will be right under mine on the hell-to-pay list. He inhales deeply. You're cleared for duty, both of you. Get back to the barracks and get some sleep. Dismissed. Yes, sir, Vanto said as he stood up. Thank you, sir. Thrawn and Vanto were again on the walkway before Vanto spoke again. Interesting solution, he commented. His voice is thoughtful. I'm a little surprised Deanlark went for it. I am not, Thrawn said. Did you observe the flat sculpt on the left side wall? Yes, I think so, Vanto said. He frowns and his voice becomes more hesitant. He is focusing his memory. The one with the ocean waves and the sailing ship? The sailing warship, yes, Thrawn said. It is a highly valuable work of art, worth far more than a man of Commandant Deanlark's position could afford. I doubt it's his, Vanto said. It's probably part of the office decor. And yet still too valuable for even the Academy to purchase, Thrawn said. I conclude, therefore, it was a gift from one or more of Coruscant's powerful families. Meaning? Vanto asked. His posture straightens abruptly as he understands. Meaning that Deanlark knows Royal Imperial is beholden to the families. Meaning in turn that he would jump at any chance to avoid a public confrontation. Beholden? Opokka. Ah, Thrawn said. Yes, that is indeed Commandant Deanlark's position. That was why he so readily accepted my plan. Odd that these comlinks do not have a preset emergency signal. What? Vanto frowns in surprise or confusion. Chiss comms have an emergency button, Thrawn said. It allows for aid to be summoned quickly. Yeah, that could be useful, Vanto agreed. You've got them on civilian comms, but not military comlinks. Probably needed the space for all the extra encryption chips to make sure no one's eavesdropping on official chatter. It would also be useful to arrange the comlinks to that one, so that one would not need to draw them from belt or pocket. That would definitely be handy, Vanto gestures to the lieutenant's rank plaque. Maybe you could put it inside the rank plaque. At least you wouldn't have to worry about dropping it. Could that be done? What, put a comlink in the rank plaque? Sure. You'd just have to hollow out the tiles from behind. Plenty of room there for a comlink's worth of electronics. His nice arrow and further thought. Though on second thought, you might not have enough room for all the encryption chips. Probably couldn't squeeze in enough battery power for long-range use either. It would only function aboard ship then? Right, Vanto said. Which means you'd still have to carry a long-range version for off-ship use. He sighs in resignation. I guess there's a reason why people do things the way they do. Sometimes, Thrawn said. Not always. I suppose, Vanto said. His tone is thoughtful. Could you really tell they would be a good they would be good starfighter pilots, or was that just a way to get them kicked out of Royal Imperial? I could really tell, Thrawn said. You could not? Not even close. Vanto was silent for 3 more steps. His forehead it creased in a frown. Still doesn't address the fact that they attacked you, you know. You're just going to let them get away with that? Your question assumes they will suffer no punishment, Thrawn said. On the contrary, they will spend tomorrow knowing their deeds are laid bare and wondering what fate Commandant Dinark has planned for them. They will journey to Skystrike bearing the same fear and uncertainty. Ah, Vanto said, I see where you're going. Even once they're there, they'll never be sure they won't be hauled out of bed in the middle of the night and brought back to Coruscant for trial. That fear will eventually fade, Thrawn said, but not for a considerable time. I suppose not, Vanto said, so they get to walk on eggshells for a few months. Obar gets to do the same, and Dinark doesn't have to face Obar's family. You also will not need to face that same pressure. I wondered if you'd be thinking about that, Vanto said. So justice is served, sort of, and everyone else comes out ahead. What we call a win-win. He points at Thrawn's face. Except you. My injuries are minor, and will heal. I have endured worse. I'll bet you have. Vanto is silent for another few steps. So is this what the Chiss leaders have to look forward to? I do not understand. This kind of justice, Vanto said. Retribution for exiling you. The stories say the Chiss never forget injuries that have been done to them. Your stories assume that memory necessarily leads to vengeance, Thrawn said. That is not always the case. Situations change. Reasons and motivations change. No, I seek no retribution. Really? Because it looks to me like they deserve it. They had reasons for my exile. The preemptive strike thing? Vanto asked. His tone is curious but cautious. He sees information within his grasp, but fears to chase it away. What happened anyway? Did you let someone's strike get through the Chiss lines? No, Thrawn said. I launched a strike of my own. Who was it against? Evil, Thrawn said. Nomadic pirates who preyed on defenseless worlds. I deemed it dishonorable for the Chiss ascendancy to stand unmoving and not assist the helpless. Did you beat them? Yes, Thrawn said, but my leaders were unhappy. Sounds pretty ungrateful, Vanto said. His voice is firm without uncertainty. Also pretty stupid. Pirates like that would have turned on your people sooner or later. What then? Then we would have fought, Thrawn said, but then we would have been the victims. And you can't fight until that happens? That is the Ascendancy's current military doctrine. Vanto shakes his head. It's still unfair. Sometimes a commander's decisions must be made without regard for how they will be perceived, Thrawn said. What matters is that the commander does what is necessary for victory. Yeah, Vanto said. Lucky for me, I'm on track for a supply officer position. I'll never have to worry about that. Yes, Thrawn said. Perhaps. Now watch, Arinda said, pointing to the discolored spot where the conduit entered the apartment wall. Okay, Daisy, turn it on. From the other room came the sound of the restroom water being turned on. A moment later, a small spray of water spurted from the spot. A water leak? Chestnut Baker growled. You dragged me all the way down here for a water leak? It's your building, Arinda reminded her calmly. Your maintenance people kept stalling her off, and I couldn't get anyone in your office to take this seriously. So like a little girl who skinned her knee, you go crying to some bureaucrat in the housing department and get him to issue an order for me to drop everything and you come down here? Your government at least says your company is responsible for repairs, Arinda said. You own the company that owns this apartment block. That makes you ultimately responsible. If your people won't obey the law, I guess it'll have to be you, personally. Breaker said, eyeing her venomously. Come over here for a minute. She turned and crossed to the window that looked out across the massive planet-wide city that was Coruscant. Frowning, Arinda followed. You see that? Breaker asked when the two women were once again standing together. Out there are the little people you're representing so proudly. You know what you're going to do if you ever get in trouble or need help? No, what? Absolutely nothing, Breaker said. You'll be as forgotten as yesterday's breakfast. She tapped her chest. I'm the one you want to impress, Miss Price. Men and women like me, not Daisy, what's her name out there. We're the ones with the power to make or break you. You'd be well advised to remember that. I appreciate your concern for my well-being, Arinda said, but I already have a friend in high places. Who, Senator Ranking? Breaker snorted. You go ahead and believe that if you want. You're just the latest in a long line of people he's dropped in a dead-end job and left to rot. I'll keep that in mind, Arinda said. In the meantime, you have some repairs to make, and I have 57 more apartment doors to knock on. As long as I'm here, I might as well see what else is wrong with this place. Don't bother, Breaker growled. I'll have one of my people, one of my little people, check in attendance complaints. We'll have it all finished by the end of next week. I'll hold you to that, Miss Breaker. Good day. 10 minutes later, Arinda was in her air car, buzzing her way across the Coruscant sky along with millions of other vehicles. A month ago, she mused, she would have been terrified by the traffic flow. Now she barely noticed it. Just as a month ago, she might have agreed with Breaker's suggestion that Rankin had stuck her here in order to get rid of her. For the first 2 months of the senator had talked to her maybe twice, for no more than 3 minutes at a time. It had very much looked like he had forgotten about her. That was about to change, very, very soon. Her comm chimed, and she pulled it out. The ID said Senator Rankin. She smiled tightly. Very soon, or possibly right now. Arinda Price, she said. Senator Rankin, Miss Price, Rankin said over the comm. How are things going? Very well, Senator, thank you. I've just taken another landlord to task for failing her responsibilities to her tenants. So I hear, Rankin said, his voice going a little brittle. I just heard from Counselor Joan, who just heard from Miss Breaker. You're causing a real stir down here. Just doing my job, Senator, Arinda said, smiling to herself. So her little one-woman crusade against corruption and indifference was finally drawing the right kind of attention. I hope you and Counselor Joan aren't suggesting I ignore Coruscant laws and regulations. No, of course not, Rankin assured her. Because the local citizens I'm serving certainly seem happy with our progress, Arinda continued, and that is the reason I'm here. Of course, Rankin said, you're doing a very effective job, which is actually why I called. As you may know, with so many people living on Coruscant, the usual array of government services has been badly strained for many years. A new program has been initiated that encourages senators to set up, and fund, of course, supplementary citizen assistance offices across the planet. Offices open to all Coruscant citizens, not just that senator's own transient citizens? Yeah, exactly, Rankin said. I have such 4 offices, and I'm about to open a 5th in the Bartonish 4th sector. It's occurred to me that you're the perfect person to run it. Really? Arinda breathed, putting some schoolgirl incitement into her voice, even as she sent a cynical smile toward the traffic flow outside. That would be wonderful. When would I start? As soon as you close your office for the day. I'll have someone else reopen it next week. Clear out your apartment and move everything to Bartonish 4. The office there is ready, and I've got an apartment reserved for you 2 and 6 away. That sounds great, Arinda said. 2 blocks and 6 levels would put her within perfect walking distance. I'll head back to the office and get things started right away. Good. I'll send you both the office and apartment address. Let me know when you'll be arriving, and I'll have someone meet you with the various keys. All right? Sounds perfect, Arinda said. Thank you again. No thanks needed, Rankin said. You've earned it. Take care. The connection clicked off. Arinda put the comm away, smiling again. Rankin didn't mind her annoying the relatively rich and powerful. He just didn't want her activities so closely identified with him. In an anonymous assistant's office with no obvious connection to Rankin, she could make all the waves she wanted without nearly so much political blowback. From Rankin's point of view, it had a couple of nice advantages. Arinda would continue to stir Coruscant's sludge, possibly digging up leverage points against local movers and shakers that Rankin could use in the future. At the same time, her new position would hopefully keep her too occupied to worry about the mine she'd lost to the Empire. What Rankin probably didn't realize was that it was just as much a win-win for Arinda, which is why she'd worked so hard to land this exact job ever since hearing about the project a few weeks earlier. Dealing with actual Coruscant citizens instead of local expatriates would move her up a modest step up the social ladder, and in Bartonish 4 she would also move several steps physically closer to the all-powerful federal district. Small steps to be sure, but if there was one thing her parents had impressed upon her, it was that the best path didn't have to be quick as long as it was correct. and Orindo was in no hurry. No hurry at all. Suddenly, almost before Eli knew it, it was over. "Congratulations, son," his father said, gripping his hand tightly. "Thanks, Dad," Eli said. But despite the smiles and cheerful words, he could sense an unexpected reserve lurking behind his father's eyes. His mother's concerns were even more visible. It wasn't hard to figure out the reason. Every glance at the Coruscant skyline, every lingering look at one of the other freshly minted ensigns, every lowering of their voices whenever someone nearby might hear, all of it pointed to the fact that a wild space cadet like Eli should never have been at Royal Imperial in the first place. And then there was Thrawn. "You're sure he's okay?" his mother asked as they walked along one of the garden patches leading back to the barracks. "Because if the stories about Chiss are right," she trailed off. "They aren't, Mom," Eli assured her. "At least not the ones you're thinking about." "How do you know which ones I'm thinking about?" "The ones about cunning and cruel vindictiveness," Eli said. "If they were, a lot of the cadets you're looking at would never have survived long enough to graduate." He winced as the last words left his mouth. Probably not the best way he could have put that. "He's okay," he assured them. "Really, very smart." "So that part of the stories is true?" his father put in. "Yes," Eli said. "Let's not talk about him, okay?" "Fine," his father said. "Let's talk about you. What happens now that you're off your career track?" Who says I'm off it?" Eli countered. "Up until I came here, that was the bulk of my training. As far as I know, that's still where I am." "Well, I hope so," his father said. You never know about core world nonsense." Eli suppressed a sigh. After all he'd put up with at Royal Imperial. But then that was the way of things. "And hanging around that Chiss might have affected things too," his mother added. "I didn't have any choice, Mom," he once again explained as patiently as he could. No matter how far down the social scale a person was, he added sourly to himself, there was always someone lower. "I was assigned to him as his translator." "Well, hopefully that's over now," his father said. "When do you get your ship assignment?" "Later today," Eli said, "and it might be a ground assignment, not a ship." It'll be a ship, dear," his mother said, patting his arm. "You come from a family of voyagers, and you're good with numbers. They'd be silly to put you on a base." "Sure," Eli said. Though now that he had a better understanding of Navy logistics, he knew that being good with numbers might be the perfect reason for them to put him at a base or supply depot. "And we have to get going," his father said suddenly. Eli frowned, looking at him. Out of the corner of his eye, he saw Thrawn approaching at a brisk walk, as his father had apparently also noted. Always someone lower. "You really don't have to," he said. "If you can stay another day or even another few hours, we can find out my assignment together." "We have to go," his father said, fumbling in his tunic. "We have to—" Damn. And then it was too late. "Good afternoon," Thrawn said as he joined their little group. "You're Ensign Vanto's parents, of course. Welcome to Coruscant." "Thank you," Eli's father said, his voice a little strained. "You are, "I am Lieutenant Thrawn," Thrawn said. "Your son has done quite well. You should be very proud of him." "We are," Eli's mother said. Her voice was less strained than her husband's, but the blatant curiosity in her face more than made up for it. You're really a Chiss?" "I am," Thrawn confirmed. "Your son has spoken of your legends concerning us. Be aware that not all of them are accurate." "But some of them are?" Eli's father asked carefully. "May I ask which ones?" "Dad!" Eli admonished him, feeling his face warming. "The most flattering ones, of course," Thrawn said, a small smile touching his lips. "Still, even when false, legends can be most informative." "I thought you said they weren't all true," Eli's mother said. "I did not refer to the legends themselves," Thrawn said, turning his glowing eyes on her. "But what is remembered says a great deal about those doing the remembering." For a moment, an awkward silence surrounded the group. "I see," Eli's father said at last. "Very interesting. But as I was saying, we have to go." "What was the problem?" Eli asked. "The problem? You said damn. That usually implies a problem." "Oh," his father said. "No, not really. I just forgotten we can't use our beck and call here, that's all. We'll have to get an Airbus to our landing platform." "Which they charge an arm and a leg for," his mother added. "But we'll be fine. We need to get back home anyway." She stepped close to Eli and wrapped him in a big hug. "Thank you for inviting us here, Eli. Let us know where they put you, and take care." "I will, Mom," Eli promised as his father wrapped his arms around them both. "Have a safe trip back." "We will," his father said. "Goodbye, and take care." He released his hug. "Lieutenant," he said, nodding gingerly at Thrawn. "Mr. Vanto," Thrawn said, returning the nod. "Miss Vanto. Safe journeys." Thank you. Eli's father took his mother's arm and led her away. For a moment, Eli and Thrawn stood in silence, watching as his parents walked down the path toward the Academy's landing platform. They are concerned about you, Thrawn said at last. Parents' prerogative, Eli said, wondering uncomfortably how much Thrawn had been able to read from his brief encounters with them. Had he figured out that a major part of their concern was that Thrawn's presence in Eli's life might somehow poison his future? They're also not all that comfortable here. Big city, core people, you know. Yes, Thrawn said. Your father spoke of a beckon call. What is that? It's a device that can remotely bring your ship to you, Eli said. All my family's business ships are slave-rigged for beckon calls. With some of our clients, it's a good idea to keep your ship and the rest of your cargo out of sight and reach until you've finished your deal. Because of the potential for theft? Basically. Why does the Empire not suppress such criminal activity? Because they can't be everywhere, Eli said. And wild space isn't exactly high on Coruscant's list. He nodded at the lieutenant's rank plaque, now attached prominently to Thrawn's tunic. So is that a new plaque Dienlark gave you at the ceremony, or did you give him back the old one beforehand? This one is new, Thrawn said, rubbing his fingertips gently across the tiles. Evidently, he forgot he had already given me one. Ah, Eli said, nodding. I guess you can keep the other one as a souvenir. Or find another use for it, Thrawn said. When will we learn our assignments? Eli checked his chrono. Could be any time now. He looked back at his departing parents, now nearly lost among the rest of the family members who'd gathered for the graduation ceremonies. Might as well head over to the commandant's office and see. Very well, Thrawn said. Why do they not simply send us the assignments on our computers? I don't know, Eli said, turning his back on the other attendants and their other cadets and their well-wishers. He'd headed toward the commandant's office. Probably want us to get used to handling properly encrypted data and orders, or it's the way they've always done things. Take your pick. Come on, good chance we'll be the first ones in line. They weren't the first, but they were the second and third. Eli gazed at his data card as he and Thrawn walked past the lines of graduates, now starting to form, his eyes lingering on the Imperial Academy logo, a new trickle of satisfaction running through his disappointment at his parents' abrupt departure. They might not think much of his transfer to Coruscant, but everyone else in the Navy would. He'd done it. He'd really and truly done it. Against all odds, the wild space yokel had been thrown into the elite of Coruscant and had succeeded. Well, Thrawn prompted. You first, Eli said, and as his time at Royal Imperial was coming to an end, so was his time with Thrawn. It had been interesting, but he was ready to move on. Very well. Thrawn slipped his card into his datapad and peered at the display. Interesting. I am to be second weapons officer aboard the Gazanti-class cruiser Blood Crow. Nice, Eli said. Gazantis were Carillion design, about 64 meters long with dorsal and ventral laser turrets. They were a bit old, most were pre-Clone Wars manufactured, but they could still hold their own alongside newer ships. Most were being used as freighters or evac ships, but some would be retrofitted with external clamps to carry starfighters or walkers, which would bring them into the front lines against pirates, smugglers, and slavers. In any role, though, a Gazanti was a good, solid ship from which to launch a career. And you, Thrawn asked? I presume you asked for a supply officer position? I did, Eli confirmed as he inserted his own data card. Good chance I got it too. The bigger ships are always hurting for supply personnel. He trailed off. What the hell? What is it? Thrawn asked. It took Eli 2 tries to find his voice. The Blood Crow, he choked out. Aid to Lieutenant Thrawn. He looked up at Thrawn, a red haze of anger dropping over his vision. Did you do this? He demanded. Thrawn shook his head. No. Don't lie, Eli snarled. Lieutenants don't get aids ever. You set this up with the Emperor, didn't you? The Emperor does not speak to me, Thrawn said, nor have I spoken with him since my first day on this world. This didn't happen by accident, Eli grounded. You must have said something. What was it? What was it? Thrawn hesitated, then lowered his head. The Blood Crow is scheduled for duty in border sectors where Cybisti and related trade languages may be spoken, he said reluctantly. I merely pointed out that it might be beneficial to have 2 officers aboard who understand those languages. Since they aren't programmed into translator droids, Eli bit out an acid taste in his mouth. But I assure you, I said nothing about an aide, Thrawn insisted. If you wish, I will refuse to accept you in that position. Eli looked down at his datapad, feeling the anger drain out of him. The anger and the excitement of graduation. Thrawn could refuse, ask, or demand all he wanted. It wouldn't do any good. Once orders were logged into the Navy data system, they might as well be laser etched into granite. So that was that. In a single stroke, Eli's life had been completely upended. Again. Only now it wasn't just his schooling. This time it was his career, so carefully calculated and implemented, that had been snatched up away from him. He would enter the Navy not as an up-and-coming supply officer, but as an officer's aide. The career path most solidly guaranteed to go nowhere. And that assumed that Thrawn was even up-and-coming himself. What if he wasn't? What if he failed? Because he might. In fact, the odds were high that he would. Disrespect for non-humans might not be official policy, but it nonetheless quietly pervaded the Navy. Thrawn would have to try twice as hard as anyone else, and succeed twice as often, just to stay even with them. And when Thrawn went down, it was almost guaranteed that anyone associated with him would go down too. Ensign Vanto, Thrawn prompted, shall I speak with the commandant? No point, Eli said, shutting down the datapad and putting it away. The Navy doesn't change orders just because junior officers don't like them. When you're an admiral, we'll see what you can do. I understand, Thrawn said quietly. Very well. I shall strive to achieve that rank as quickly as possible. Eli looked sharply at him. Was the damn chiss mocking him? But there was no hint of amusement in his face. Thrawn was deadly serious. A shiver ran up Eli's back, the ghosts of the old stories whispering through his mind. Chiss didn't make idle boasts or promises, and once they set their minds to something, they succeeded or died in the attempt. Maybe he really thought he could make admiral someday. Maybe he was right. I'll look forward to it, Eli said. Come on. The order said to be on the Corellia transport at 1800 hours. We don't want to start our careers by missing our ride. Oh, friends, there it is. Chapter 6 of Star Wars Thrawn. I hope you enjoyed that. I am loving reading this again. This is my second time through. And I think the character of Thrawn, as written by Timothy Zahn, is just fantastic. And you get a little bit of the political maneuvering and his wisdom and his sort of like street smarts and political skills. I love it. I want to thank you all for the hydrate reminders, the stretch reminders, and so forth. James, love story time. Thank you as well. Yeah, poor Eli. His life has changed. AJ says it's great. Yeah, I love this book, and I'm so glad that we're doing this. Thank you again for joining me. I am going to eat my breakfast. The rest of my pie, my tea, I've got water. I'm going to recoup my voice, and what I'm going to do next is transition to our co-working space, and I do this by going here. So give me just a second. Hopefully this won't take too long. Boom. There it is. I am going to be co-working for the next few hours. I've got tons of stuff to do. I'm sure you do as well. Please, I will turn on the music. Please hang out and let's be productive together. So thank you again, friends. I hope you have a great day. So what do you do? I'm on. Let's skip. Oops, that's not it. Uh-oh. Let me change the scene here. Actually, this might work. Let's see. Stream. Hi. Okay. What I'm going to do next is... Okay, microphone works there. Cool. What I'm going to do is I am going to start the Forest app. If you're on the Forest app, I'm going to drop a link there. That's the Forest app. I'm going to start a room. If you'd like to join me, I'm going to work in 25-minute... Oh, that's not the app. I'm going to work in 25-minute sessions. After 25 minutes, we'll take a break, meet here at the water cooler, the virtual water cooler, and chat for a few minutes, and then get back to work. Let's see. I'm going to create a room, and I will drop the code here if you'd like to work together. So the room code is... James, I don't know how many trees I have. I'll have to check it out. Oh, I did turn in... So I had 2,500 coins that I'd earned on the app, and I turned those in for to plant a real tree the other day. So that was pretty exciting. Let's see, 39RWJP5. there's the room. And I'll James, on the next break, I'll check how many trees we've grown. But I know it's a good chunk. Haven't done it late the last few days, but we will start again here. I've got a ton of stuff to do, so let's get into it. I'm gonna wait just a minute here because of the lag, and hopefully you can join me in that room. 39RWJP5. Yep, and we'll do 25 minutes. I'll wait. It does show how many people pop up here, so hopefully some of y'all will join me here. If not, that's cool too. We're still going to do 25 minutes. I will drop in this link. Hope you don't mind dropping this link here. I do have a Patreon. Feel free to support me if you don't already. It's a monthly donation that it really does go a long way to helping me do this for a living, create content in the board game industry, and also do things like this where I can read, Star Wars, and I can do co-working streams. I would love to do some kind of like audiobook gig where I read, for audiobooks. So that's part of the reason why I'm doing this as well. Just as a way to practice and put myself out there. So I do appreciate your support. Thank you, friends. Let's see. I don't think anyone's joining the room. That's fine. I'm going to continue doing this today on the Forest app. I'm going to start the timer. Where is it? Forest. Whoops. Oh, it has to be the plant together mode. Okay, I haven't got the setup. I'm down, but not set. Okay, James, I'll hang out. I'll wait. Create room. So I'm gonna create a different room. Let me create a new room. Room code is 3MRTRSA. Okay, that's the current room code. I'm going to wait, let me see, with lag, I'm going to wait until 10:05 a.m. Pacific. So that's 3 minutes. Because if no one joins the room, then I can't start it, and I have to go back to like the solo mode or whatever, which is fine. But we'll wait 3 minutes. Everyone stretch, grab a bite to eat. You're going to see me eat this pie. So good. You know what? I'm also going to change my mic. I'm going to change the mic here so I can get this off the table because I need to type. So give me a second. That mic's going to be off for just a minute. Okay, so that should be okay now. Mic should be on, hopefully. Oh, yeah, okay, it is. So I can move this one out of the way. Get my keyboard set up. I'm going to hydrate a little bit. So 1 more minute, then we start. And if there's no one in the room, I'm just going to go to the solo mode, which is totally cool. If you're just joining us, folks, I just read Star Wars Thrawn, Chapter 6. We are on Chapter 7. Wonderful book. Wonderful book. Things I got to do. I've got messages to answer. I've got writing to do, editing to do. Hopefully you will be productive, friends. I'm going to start the music right now, and then we're going to jump into it. Okay. Hi, Panda Angel. Good morning. Just woke up. All right. Hope you had a good hibernation, Panda Angel. We are going to be co-working together. I've got the music. It looks like it's, excuse me, a little loud. That's okay. Just getting some. Oh, more games, please. Yes, just getting dinner going. Nice. So we got more games, please. Ross, I want to watch you reorganize yourselves. I thought that was such a brilliant idea yesterday. I wasn't able to watch it, but I saw you doing it, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's such a great idea to do it on stream. So hopefully you're all well organized. You can tell in the background here that I need to do the same thing. I've got games all over the place. Looking sharp. Well, thank you, Ross. Appreciate it, my friend. Again, if you're just joining me, this is my co-working space, virtual co-working space, where we listen to chill music and work together. If you are on the Forest app, we do 25-minute work sessions. I am going to drop the room code just one more time here. If you'd like to work together in this app, let me see. The code is 3MRTRSA. It was a blast, crazy long stream though. Nice. If you do a reorganization, I'm seriously thinking about it, Ross. I mean, yeah. Again, look at this. I mean, I've got games on the floor. I want Chewie to stay there though, so I may leave those games there because I like having Chewie in the background. It's very comforting. Loved it. Please put the VOD somewhere. Oh, cool, awesome. And Amanda, Panda, I wasn't able to watch you and Paula. I was just so slammed yesterday, but I hope your stream went well. I know y'all played a game, right? Was it Chai? What a great game to play first thing in the morning, right? Nice and light and great way. So I hope that stream went well with Paula and Amanda. And don't forget today, folks, 3 p.m. Pacific, Amanda and John on Book of Nerds channel. They'll be doing Board in East LA. Really cool place to hang out, watch them play a game. And then I'll be back tonight. I announced this earlier, 7 p.m. Pacific tonight. I'm going to be playing Pandemic Legacy Season 0. This is a co-op game that I'm going to play solo, but I'm going to play 2 characters, and I'll be me, and then chat, you will be the other character. I have not opened this. It's still in shrink. I have no idea what this game hasn't. I've avoided spoilers and everything so far, so it is going to be a spoiler episode, but tonight we'll do the first game, and we're going to do it together with chat. So please join me at 7 p.m. Pacific, friends. Looking forward to that. I love Pandemic. Board game spam, organizing board games, cathartic, absolutely. I've never started Pandemic Season 1 because I wasn't sure about solo. Yeah, I just, after playing Season 1, Ross, we started with 4, but then with a 3-player group, and I feel like you could totally solo it. It's like vanilla Pandemic, right? You can control the characters, but I mean, you do lose that camaraderie, I guess, with your fellow players, but it's... From what I remember of Season 1, without giving any spoilers, I feel like you can totally do it solo. Let's see. Okay, so I don't think anyone's in the Forest app. That's cool. I'm going to use the Forest app, folks. 25-minute work sessions. Then we meet back here for just a chat like this for a few minutes. Then we get back to it 25 minutes at a time. And Panda Angel, we are playing Among Us while you work. Oh, cool. Nice. Awesome. Let's see what else. Anyone want to play? Join Ross's Discord. Yeah, Ross's Discord, folks. So I don't know how to do the shout outs for Ross's Discord, but I do know how to do this now, Amanda. I've learned how to shout out people. More games, please. So shout out to More Games, please. Check out his channel. Hopefully there's like links to Discord there. Hey, I'm learning how to do this Twitch thing, friends. It's only been about a year, right? I want to get to work now, so let's see, start. Okay, no one's in this room, so I'm just going to go solo mode on the Forest app. It's time to be productive, folks. Here we go. Let's start. James had asked how many trees I've planted. I don't know how to figure that out. Oh, for the year. How about this? James, for the year, I've planted 63 trees, and that's 1,485 minutes of using this app for work. I also have earned 2,500 coins, which I spent 2,500 coins to plant 1 tree, like an actual tree. There's that. It's a little... I don't know if you can see that because of the lights. But anyways, it says 1 tree planted by me. And with everyone that's used this app over the years, we've planted over 1 million trees. So that's pretty exciting. But hey, let's get to work. I am planting now. There's the timer. We have 25 minutes. I'll see y'all back here. I'm going to start the music and we're going to hang out. Thanks again for joining me, folks. Have a great, productive day.
what y'all think, but I think that's pretty.
Stop the music. Oh, okay, the music is stopped. Hey, friends, we planted a tree. I got 9 coins. I have a total of 2,800 coins now, so I'm going to plant another real tree. That'll be later today when we're all done here. But there is the one tree in my forest for today. That's 25 minutes. I hope you're having a productive day. Want to shout out to For Chits and Giggles. I saw you stop in here. Thank you for the compliment on the photos. Those are 150 photos of board games, different board games that I played last year at some time, either on live stream or just with my family as we stay safe during this pandemic. Oh, actually, let me update the little thing here. Virtual co-working space. I'm gonna update the stream name here so people can find us. Let's see. Listening to, working, chilling, or listening to chill music. To chill music and being productive virtually. And let's see, is there a... Okay, just chatting. Cool. I'm going to update the stream name there. Hope you're having a productive day. I wanted to get back to work real soon here, but again, we take a 5-minute break or so every 25 minutes. I'm going to start a new room. If you would like to join me, there is the forest link there. No need to use my referral code. In the plant mode, you go to plant together mode. It's just a little slider thing there. I know you can't see this, sorry. And then I will create a room. And I'm going to drop the room code if you'd like to work together. The room code is NAQF3A. Okay, well, let's see. It is 10:37 a.m., so we're gonna wait 5 minutes as we hang out and chat, and then we'll work together. Hopefully, you can join the room on the Forest app. There, we'll work 25 minutes. I wanted to. This made me laugh earlier, so I wanted to share it with y'all. So I had a meeting yesterday, and it was actually a meeting with the Brothers Murph. We do this thing called TLN, the Tabletop Live Network, and we're planning, for the months ahead of time here. We're trying to, this is a work in progress. We're learning a lot as we go along, and we're learning that it's taken a lot more time than we thought it would. We knew it was going to be a big undertaking, but we're realizing how much time it's taking. But anyways, we had a really, really great productive meeting yesterday. Not only just looking back at how far we've come, right, which is important, right, as you do stuff like this. Just looking, like, we started back in November, and just this last weekend we have our first 24-hour stream, which was amazing, and everyone was awesome. They brought their A game. They were just like, I'm so proud to be part of this that I cannot convey in words how proud I am to be part of it and working alongside all these great streamers. So anyways, we had this meeting. We're just going over stuff, and these are literally, like, I take notes. I do hand notes, right? So these are like scraps of paper I had, and I ran out of paper here. I know I had some. I just didn't want to leave the meeting. We were just in a flow, right? So I had a napkin here, and this is it. Bruno last night on stream, he got to it, so he was like chewing it up, and I was like, no, it seriously felt like my dog ate my homework. It felt like one of those moments. So thankfully, Michelle salvaged my notes here. It was just so funny, and yeah, Board Games Fan, I was cracking up yesterday or last night after stream. It was like, my dog ate my homework. But anyways, I did salvage the notes. I have all these notes here, and that's one of the things I'm going to do is for this next work session, I'm going to transfer my notes to electronic document. Also, why don't we do this? We'll do it impromptu. Tell you what, I'm gonna do an impromptu unboxing, folks. So grab all this stuff off the table. Oh, that's where that is. Okay. So earlier today, read Star Wars Thrawn Chapter 6. We're on Chapter 7. We'll get back there. I am going to, let's switch over. Actually, no, I don't want to do the unboxings. I'm thinking here, unboxing, that's going to take time. I need to get work done. But what I am doing is, I am going to open this up. Pandemic Legacy Season 0. So I'm going to play this tonight with solo, but with chat. Chat will take a character. So during this next break, I'm going to work, but I'm also going to open this up. I don't want to take time away from trying to be productive here. So check out the room code there, folks. We got a couple more minutes before we get jumping back into it, and we'll get the music going again. Dare Drinkers in the house. Hello. Speaking of Dare drinking, I'm going to take a sip of tea. Oh my gosh, that's so good. I love Earl Grey with honey and lemon. So soothing, right? So I'm going to transfer my notes. I've got to deposit a check here, too. Where is that check? Okay, there. And I've got writing and editing. One thing I sort of want to share with... no, you know what? I'll share that later. What tea are you drinking? Yes, there is an Earl Grey. I think it's the Private Selections. It's just the Private Selections brand or whatever from Ralph's. Just not generic. It's like they're like not generic / like they're sort of hoity-toity generic stuff. But it's an Earl Grey, and then of course I just squeeze some fresh lemon and drop some honey in there. Mix it all up, and it's good to go. It's nice and hot. I love this this tumbler, this Catan one. I make tea in the morning, and it's still hot, like in the afternoon, like hot. I mean, I can still drink it like later that night. It'll be warm. It's not piping hot, but it's still warm. Oh, it's such a nice tumbler. Yeah, Board Game Fan. Electronic notes are definitely more dog-proof. What are y'all drinking or eating? Let me know in chat. We're going to go one more minute, then we're going to start the music up again. Don't forget to stretch, do your things, be healthy, stretch, drink, hydrate. You know what I am going to do? I always like doing this whenever I'm working on the computer. I go outside, where it's safe, just in the either backyard or the front porch, and I'll just look like at the sky, like towards the skyline. Because you know how your eyes are just focused on the computer screen for long periods of time. I like to refocus like it's something in the distance, just to recalibrate the eyes or whatever. Herb's Gambit's in the house. Hi, Herb. Thanks for joining us. Herb has also started streaming recently on Twitch, so please follow him. He does. I saw you doing. Gosh, I know you and Eclectic Camel do the Marvel Champions, but I think you were playing. Now I forgot what it was. I want to say Burgle Brothers too, but I'm pretty sure that was Eclectic Camel with Mandy. But yeah, check out Herb's Gambit. I'm gonna shout you out, my friend, because I'm learning all this new cool stuff that I can do on Twitch. There it is. Shout out Herb's Gambit, awesome person. Their last play board games. There it is. There's his channel. One last shot, folks. I'm going to start the Plant app now. We do have someone in there. Okay, cool. This is the Plant app. I'm going to start. We have 25 minutes. I'll see y'all back here. Let's get some work done and be productive. The timer has started. 25 minutes. And I'm going to get the music going, and we'll see you soon. All right, let's be productive. Thank you, friends.